welcome to another Daily Digest video. I'm Merriam. Today I am going to try to make Jace work in Modern. This is something that I think people tried out a bit right when the unban announcement happened. This is Blue-White Miracles, obviously taking advantage of the power of Terminus. I'm not sure how good those decks were positioned in that early unban metagame, but now that the format has settled around Humans and Hollow One, two decks against which Terminus is very good. I think this deck has a good shot. This is a cool list, and hopefully we get one of those matchups that can really put it to the test. Opponent on the play, they kept. Our hand is great. We'll get to turn 1 Serum Visions, turn 1 Leak, hopefully find some other interaction and set up a turn 4 Jace into Terminus on 5. So I will certainly keep. Opponent's upkeep. Ooh, a control mirror. Okay, then. Well, that's a little bit different. Terminus not so good in this matchup, but we do have a lot of counter spells in this deck, which is nice, and I do already have 3 lands. Very important in the control mirrors to make a lot of land drops, so I will certainly be digging hard for them, to the point where I'm actually going to bottom this counter spell and just take a Serum Visions. I have enough counter spells with double Cryptic and Mana Leak. So far, I really just need to hit land drops, and the Visions will help me do that. Of course, we'll now get shown that our opponent's playing Merfolk or something. Okay, well, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. So I think what I'm going to do is try to just hold up Mana Leak for this turn, because now that I know I'm playing against Merfolk, I'm going to try to set up this Jace more effectively. I have a feeling what's going to happen is I'm going to cast Jace and have it die in combat, but it'll brainstorm and set up the Terminus, and that'll be enough. That'll be sufficient. You know, Jace doesn't have to completely dominate every game you cast it in. Sometimes a little bit of value is enough. If I can counter a Silvergrill Adept, I'd be very happy, but I assume if they had one of those, they would have cast it last turn. Mutavault is not a card I'm happy to... Oh, okay. Well, I guess they drew an Adept, and we will gladly Mana Leak that, unless they have a Spell Pierce. Still a little unhappy to see a Mutavault there, but... yeah, sure. I will... gladly just trade 1 for 1, I guess. Click the card to cast it. Let's see if I can do this correctly. Just 1 for 1 removal spell. Again, don't need to max value all these Terminuses. I'm a little sad that I've hit one and now my opponent knows about it. Ooh, Path is definitely good. So let's bottom that and top the 4th land, and now I'm actually going to shock myself to hold up this Path and see what my opponent does. Now we have a... actually, with that hit of Terminus and this Path off the Visions, we have a shot of landing this Jace cleanly, which is quite nice. Well, that is not what I wanted to see. And then play the Lord. Oh, they're activating Mutavault. This is their turn 4, so they can't play Lord now. That's interesting. Had they played... Had they played the Lord, I would have just not pathed, because it doesn't set up the Jace, and I'd rather trade the Path for a Lord than the Curse Catcher. But now that I guess if they had another Curse Catcher here, but they would have cast 1 last turn if they had it, because they just cast Adept. So they definitely don't have a second Curse Catcher. They might have like a Spell Pierce, but I can't do much about that. Again, they probably would have pierced the Mana Leak if they had it. Yeah, so let's let them attack. Now I'm going to fire off this Path just to get the Curse Catcher off the board, because this represents 5 power with the Master I know is in their hand. And I can simply play Jace +2 and then use these cryptics to defend it for a while, at least while I set up a Terminus. I guess this is a little loose because the Mutavault's just going to stay on the battlefield now through a Terminus. Yeah. But this is my best shot of landing this Jace. I could also just hold up Cryptics here. They haven't drawn a Cavern, they haven't drawn a Vial, so the Cryptic's going to be good, and I would end up just taking a bit of... How am I already at 14? I guess I took a 2-point attack from the Lord, yeah. And then Shock, and then the Mutavault. Okay. Could hold up Cryptic here and just start countering their creatures and probably taking some hits from Mutavault, hoping to find some other way to deal with this Mutavault, Snapcaster, Gideon, something like that. That might just be better. If I Jace and I have to +2 with the Jace, then they just go let's just say they go Master, attack Jace for 3. What is my play the next turn? Then I have to start Crypticking to tap down just to protect the Jace. I do get to Brainstorm every turn, but that just uses my mana so inefficiently. Yeah, I think I'll just pass with these Cryptics up, run them out of threats a bit, and then Jace. That sounds better. Still reason to use that path, by the way. Get this Curse Catcher off the board and set up these Cryptic commands. Okay. See if they can punish me with a double spell turn. Ooh. Well, they reveal the Master again to this Adept, and their plan clearly is not to double spell, because they left up Mutavault instead of 2 blue. So, counter target spell on draw card. Looks like they're trying to get a little aggressive with this Mutavault. Not sure if that's better, especially with the way I represented Cryptic. It's a pretty easy card to read here. Okay, and another Cryptic command. Yep, firing up the Mutavault again. Looks like we might be in this pattern for a little while. No, that's a tilt. Really, the miracle draw just revealed it to them, I guess, if they were paying attention. Nah, that's also an awkward draw. Yeah, I think I want to stay in this pattern still. It seems better. I'm not worried about Merfolk having any reach. There are some recent lists that have some bolts, but my opponent doesn't look to be on one of those. So I can use my life total a bit here. I'd really like to count. Yeah, I'd really like to counter this Master. Although it's pretty likely they have more Lords if they're holding all spells. Okay, 5th land is not bad. And same pattern, yep. Okay. Now I'm at 10. Do I do this Cryptic thing for one more turn? Or do I now, with only one Cryptic left, try to set up this Jace? I don't think I would want to risk the Jace Brainstorm line against another Lord. I would probably just Jace +2, and then have Jace take 3, then untap Brainstorm. Okay, well that... Another Jace, I think, changes things. Because the that line where I have to plus and then Brainstorm is just weak to 2 Mutavault attacks. So now I think I'm on the Jace Brainstorm line, and if this Jace dies, I have another one. Yeah. So I'm fine with this Jace dying. And then I'll just have multiple Terminuses stacked. And if I can just find a path here, that would also be excellent. A mana leak. Okay, well, let's put these two back and play a Colonnade and pass the turn. Do you have another Lord? Not going to get great value out of these Terminuses, but I've gained a lot of card advantage with Cryptics and this Jace. Another Mutavault. Ugh. Is this only a 2-point attack? Okay, they don't have another Lord. This is great. What does that change? No, that's fine. Let's brainstorm again. Ooh, that is also interesting. So now I can go like this and this. These Terminus is back still. So I have I can Cryptic on their turn to get an instant speed Terminus. That is an option. Especially if they activate both Mutavaults, that would be great. And I have enough mana to Cryptic Terminus, pay for Curse Catcher. I can just play Gideon Jura here. The Gideon Jura is bad if they have exactly untapped land and Lord, but they just played a land last turn after missing land drops, and they didn't play a Lord when it could have killed my Jace. Oh, they attacked me. They didn't play a Lord when they could have killed my Jace. So I don't think they have either in their hand, and they need both next turn with only one draw step. So I think Gideon is actually a pretty safe play here, and that will continue to force him to extend into a sweeper. So let's just play the Gideon. And +2. And we are in complete control here. I think it's going to be pretty difficult for our Merfolk opponent to get back into this game. Even if they did have untapped land Lord here, I mean, I would still be in a commanding position with 2 Terminuses on the top of my deck. Okay, that is not a big deal when I have Gideon and Terminus. This is just an activate and sure. Get the Gideon down to 5. Okay. Yeah, this is not anything to worry about. Gideon will go to 5, and I will continue brainstorming. Maybe I'm supposed to start plussing this Jace. Do I reveal this Terminus? They basically know it's there already with all the miracle triggers or miracle stops. Yeah, why not? I think getting the Kira off the battlefield opens up Snapcaster to do some things, which I like. And at this point, the Snap path will deal with both Mutavaults while holding up Mana Leak even through this Curse Catcher, which will likely get sacrificed. Cast. Pay white. Oh, I guess they F6'd, so don't even have to pay the extra 1. And draw 3. And I think I'll just keep... I could shuffle away, but all my cards are good, and I want to leave myself with the option of Terminusing every turn. And now I think I can start attacking. Yeah. 0. We'll just close this game out. Yeah, they're on 2 cards in hand. We've got 5 good ones. Jace active. Also, it's Colonnade that can eventually join the fray. Mana Leak. Got anything else for me? Okay. Sure. And now I will just Snapcast to deal with this Mutavault. And we should be on to game 2 pretty quickly here. I'm a little bit short of ending it this turn, but don't think that matters much. No. Brainstorm. And let's put those back and play this. And 0 this. And mush for 8. Have 3 counter spells in my hand. Not sure what they're going to be able to do here, but I would be impressed. No. Crack this fetch. Okay. There, I've seen enough. What am I going to bring in? Timely seems kind of mediocre. Most of the time, if their creatures are a threat, they're going to have Island Walk. Maybe the life gain is okay, but I definitely don't want all these counter spells, so it might be the best thing. Like, I definitely want to bring out negates. I think Spell Snare is fine. Sensor Cycling is a big deal. It's like only 3 paths in it. That's weird. No matter. Yeah, Sensor Cycling I think makes it better than Mana Leak. I kind of want to just board all of them out. Maybe I'm supposed to throw in Cryptic. It's just an expensive thing in the face of Curse Catcher. And then I sort of just have to question if I want some number of these effects, Stony Silence and Disenchant, to deal with Vial. I imagine Stony Silence is the better of the pair. I don't think they're going to have anything that I can disenchant other than Vial. Usually it's like Relic. Maybe they'd have Chalice in their board and try to set that on 1. But for now, I'll go with the one that really shuts down Vial. I think I do want to trim a Cryptic. I kind of want to cut a couple leaks. Leak is still just generally fine. I guess if they draw Cavern, it's pretty bad. Maybe I'm just supposed to cut every mana leak. Just such a liability against Cavern. This is still only 59. I've brought in 5 cards. I've brought out 6. Okay. I guess that makes sense. Okay, I'll try. Just try 1 mana leak. I think on the draw, I'm gonna try to lower my curve. I'll go with that justification. Okay, opponent sent a lot of messages. This hand is definitely not keepable, just not functional. And this one has no lands, so let's ship that one back. This one is okay, I guess. It's functional, so... Do I want a 3rd land? Probably. I don't have any way other than Jace to get this Terminus into my hand back on top of my deck. I'm going to need to hit lands to do something. I probably want this land. I'll keep it. Not feeling confident about this game on Mull to 5, but you know, if we just blind flip a Terminus, that's always great. So I'm going to hold on to this Censor for a bit. We start with a Vial. Pass the turn. Yeah, Censor definitely getting cycled. Cavern and Vial. Yeah, Censor definitely getting cycled. Do they have the Adept too? Looks like it. This is an ideal start, I think, for my opponent. Turn 1 Mutavault Vial, turn 2 Cavern Adept. Harbinger of the Tides. Not sure why that one's still in their deck, but I will take it. Essentially just a Grizzly Bear against me, unless they want to bounce me on Snapcaster when it attacks. Guess they could bounce an attacking Gideon. Ugh. Well, that's not so good. I guess we'll hope for a target at some point, but I'm not going to hold my breath. The question in this game is going to be how to time my Censor to give myself the best chance of winning. Because I think I'm going to have to Censor into a Terminus to have a shot. This Vial makes it very awkward. I'm definitely going to try to tag the Mutavault when I do. Now that the Vial's up past 1, I don't have to worry about Curse Catcher. Oh, looks like they are... They might Vial in a Lord. If they Vialed in a Lord, I would go for it right now. I think the 3-for-1 is too much to resist. As is, yeah, I'll just take the 4. That's an interesting draw. So if they're playing it conservatively and they have the Lord, and I Stony here, then they attack for 8. And I'm forced to try Determinus. But I like the idea of now being able to Stony and then Terminus and not have them be able to recover that well. I'm just worried if they put enough pressure on me, if they can get to the point where next turn they don't have to attack with Mutavault. They might be at that point. But I'm going to take the risk because I'm in a really bad spot. So let's just jam. Oh, well, our Stony got a Spell Pierce, which I also like because that would have countered Terminus. See if they have a Lord here. Ooh, not putting anything in. That suggests that Harbinger is their only 2-drop. Ooh, okay, now they might have just forgotten. And they do have a Lord. Yeah, now I think that was just a misclick on their part, an oversight, because they certainly would want to do it on the end step and hold that up. They do move it to 3. And now they can only get in a 6-point attack, which is nice. Ooh, getting very conservative with the Mutavault now. This seems like a turn they would want to get in with it, but I guess they don't have the spell proof to protect it from a path. I mean, if you're not going to attack with it, then it's never going to do anything anyway. I'm going to get one of these now. It's unlikely I start cycling them, and if I draw Hallowed Fountain, I might want to have it enter untapped, especially with Cryptic in hand. Speaking of, they have 9 points on the battlefield right now. You know, I think I am just going to play it tapped still on this turn and go for the cycle sensor, and then if I draw another land, I might be able to Cryptic into Terminus, give myself another out. See if this wild goes up. Oh, they're still upkeeping it. So they've been really put off curve now. This suggests they have a 3-drop and a master because they want to put it up to 4 this turn. But at this point, because they're going to stop at 4, they could have not done this on upkeep. They didn't have to telegraph because they can just leave it on 3 and then move it on to 4 next turn. Okay, Kira is a good one. This makes paths bad draws, but they weren't going to be very good either way. If I draw a path and then hit the Terminus, I need to hit anyway. The path will just clean up the Mutavault afterwards. Still being conservative here with the Mutavault, which is weird given how aggressive they are being with Vile. Sort of an incoherency there. Might be worried about Snapcaster trading with the Lord here as well. Yeah, if they're going to be tentative now to attack with Lord, then not attacking the Mutavault seems very strange. Okay, just not being tentative, I guess. Let's cycle this sensor. Is it a miracle? Oh, it is! Well, if this gets countered, I'm going to be sad for not shocking myself to hold up the Mana Leak, but I don't. Based on the way they played, I didn't think they had a counterspell. So this can't be a Vendilion Click. It's not a Merfolk. Looks like they have the counterspell. They're just unsure as to how this timing works. So I'm getting very punished for not shocking myself, which was the other reason to shock other than Cryptic. Yep, that's just snap negate. Well, that might cost me the game. Now I'm going to take 5 instead. I would be at 9 here, staring down a Mutavault, and I would have gotten use out of my Mana Leak. Oh, still got a 2-outer. And actually, now I'm close to the point where I can hardcast the one in my hand. Okay, maybe we can get something going here. This is an opponent controls. Okay, so they can't save a better creature with that Harbinger if they draw a 4th land. That stays on 4. I guess now the Terminus doesn't do enough. Yeah, so if I counter draw, or if I tap draw, and then find a 6th land in Terminus. They violate Master of Waves. That's 4 power already, plus 3 more Mute Vault, because Master pumps it. That's 7, and I'd be dead. What I can do is tap the team and bounce a Vial, give myself 1 fewer turn to draw a land, and stop the Master from being a thing, which is, I think, my play. Tap, return all, target permanent, tap all. Yeah, that one. Got another counter spell. Okay. They're going to just put the Master Waves in? Sure. I will gladly take that. Want to cast any other creatures into my only way of getting back into this game? The answer looks to be yes. Silvergill Adept? Oh, looks like they're thinking better of it. Yeah, just recasting the vial. And land or Terminus, please. Well, you're past your combat step, so that's not going to do a whole lot. This has to be a weird, like, sensor into Terminus. Close to making up for what was probably a mistake to not hold up Mana Leak. Negate was definitely a card they could have had. One card away! One card away from the 3rd Terminus, too. And then the 6th land was below that. Okay, well, we will go to game 3. Do I want to change anything? I actually think Mana Leak in small numbers, even now in the play, is still better than Cryptic, because fighting Counter Wars is important. Maybe I'm just supposed to bring in Dispel. If the only thing I'm going to reliably counter is opposing counter spells, maybe I just want the cheapest one. It'll burn me if I have a Dispel early and they don't have a Cavern, and would have been able to counter a spell, which seems pretty likely to me. I'm going to do what cannot possibly be right because it's more fun and just be a 1-1 split. Definitely can't be right, but, you know, sometimes you got to live a little. Ugh, this hand. I think it's a keep. So the important thing to see with this hand is that I'm actually able to not have an island to play for a while. So the Timely should buy me a fair amount of time, especially, and then I can like path the First Lord. And making land drops is important. Okay, planes go. Hopefully I can find a Jace. Ooh, Colonnade. Okay, another land that's not an island. Play a creature, please. Oh no! Well, Jace was a great draw. I should have played the Hallowed Fountain actually there. That was a mistake. Now that I definitely have an island. But Jace was a great draw because they've had a hand that's slow to the board. Oh, I have to be worried about Spell Pierce, don't I? Hmm. How worried about Spell Pierce should I be? I'm pretty reliant on this Jace. But if they have the Spell Pierce, how am I resolving Jace cleanly through it? I can untap, play Timely, hope they pierce that, then play land, hold up Path for something, and then try to beat whatever they play next turn plus the Master with the Jace. But without the tokens, that seems difficult. I think I'm just going to go for it. Oh, wow, they played a while. Okay. Whew. Well, that made things easy. Okay, well, let's, Maybe a Path lets them like double spell pretty easily next turn. Maybe I'm just supposed to Jace bounce. But I could just brainstorm into a Terminus. I'm just going to Path. I think the threat of Terminus, the upside of Terminus is high enough. Like if they double spell and I just Terminus them as a 2-for-1 next turn and then brainstorm again, that is messed up. Jace. And brainstorm. And there is the Terminus. So let's put that one back and that one back and pass the turn. And we are in excellent shape because if they try to hold up negate for the Terminus, we now have Spell Snare. Mutavault is definitely one of their better cards, but Timely and Snap should be good against it. As long as I can keep an Island Walk Lord off the battlefield. Just the other reason I decided to Path there. That's a creature I'm definitely going to want to remove. What? Not sure what just happened there, but gonna brainstorm again. That was a good draw. So let's put the same two back, and now we have the opportunity to Terminus at instant speed with this Censor. Okay, they just did nothing. 5 cards in hand, 5 mana, do nothing. What could they possibly have? I'm stunned. I mean, is their hand just all lands? Maybe. Yeah, I want to hold the Spell Snare for a negate. So let's just let that resolve. Okay. I guess I'll just keep doing what I've been doing until I'm forced to act. I guess I could get blown out if they... They have multiple counter spells, but I'm now up like a ton of cards. So even if that happens, I can start like Snapcast pathing and dealing with their stuff that way. Timely to buy more time, eventually find another Terminus or another Jace, or both. I think my biggest issue is going to be ending the game in my 6 minutes left on the clock. Okay, I have another Lord. Okay, just a Harbinger. Interesting that they would violin the Harbinger and play the Master when the Master is the more important of the two. I thought that was for sure meant they had another Lord. They still could, I guess. Another Vial is no concern at all. And I guess this is the turn they want to go for it, but I don't think it's going to work out for them. All at me. So they're just trying to ignore Jace, but I still want to do this whole thing. Reveal. And even if they have negate spell pierce, I can pay for the pierce. No, just sweep them all up. It's timely just not looking good. But I'll keep brainstorming with my Jace. Okay, well, I guess I can put back these two and get a shuffle with this Field of Ruin. So that's neat. Oh, I can't get a shuffle with that Field of Ruin. They don't have a non-basic land yet because I dealt with their Mutavault. Well, that's kind of a tilt. Guess I should have played a tapped land then. Dude, this card gets me all the time. Because it's so functionally similar to Ghost Quarter, I just have it in my head that it's a Ghost Quarter and can target any land instead of Tech Edge. It's very strange. Okay. I have 7 mana. I think I just want to, where is it? This is going to me. Okay, I'm just going to take 2 here and then play the timely. I will cycle this though. 4 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna have to speed up here. Brainstorm. Put back these 2. Play this. Now I don't even. And pass the turn now because I'm a little worried about a master. I needed the timely to do. Okay, 4 minutes. We should have enough time. I'm going to upkeep Snap Path this. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done this. If they have another master, the elementals will stay in play, and that's awkward. Yeah, this is a punt. Please don't have another master waves. Okay, well I guess they didn't. Yeah, that was bad. I was thinking that if they just had a counter spell, and I was thinking of Curse Catcher from the other vial, and so that was still untapped. So going to their upkeep was fine, but yeah, a second master would have actually been kind of problematic. They get to I trade for one of them with the Snapcaster, and then they deal with either Gideon or Jace, and they have 4 more of them. So then I have to find a Terminus pretty quickly. Yeah, okay. So I almost gave my opponent a shot there after having complete control of the game, which was not something I should have done. But didn't get punished. Won very easily. I still would have. I mean, I would have had Cryptic and other things to do. Oh, yeah, that's what I would have done. I would have just let them kill one Planeswalker and then Cryptic on their turn, bounce my own Snap, and then snap the Terminus. And that would have been good enough. So I still could have gotten out of that, only losing one Planeswalker. Wouldn't have been the end of the world. Still would have had an embarrassment of riches. You saw Terminus there functioning really, really well in a creature matchup, which is exactly what it's supposed to do. So glad that happened. Pretty straightforward games there. Was just able to take control in the games I won with an uncontested Jace, and that's what Jace does. A lot better in a matchup where they can sometimes merfolks can sometimes come out slowly relative to something like humans. There's no haste threats like Mantis Rider. There's no burn spells. So if you can basically all of the threats that are happening to Jace are on the board. Except for maybe the potential of Lord pumping a creature. So that's which is somewhat minor. So once you land your Jace, it's pretty easy to just find your spot, land it, and then untap and take control, which is what Jace does. So for all you Jace fans, hope you enjoyed watching that one, and you can come back and see me on Friday. Bye.